Another season of high school football upon us. How do we know? It is Media Day here at Indiana High School, where the Little Indians are set to kick off their season with a scrimmage tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. here at Andy Kosneski Field. Of course, AM 1450 and 100.3 FM WDAD will be your home all season long for Indiana High School football. I'm Travis Williams, and this is the voice you'll be hearing when you tune in, either on your radios or online at WDADradio.com. Joined this morning by Indiana High head coach Brandon Overdorff as we look to preview the season. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning, Travis. Thank you for coming out.
I'm excited to be out. Coach, you got a late start with being hired a little late in the game last season. Your team finished 3-7 overall, 3-4 in the section, narrowly missed the playoffs. This season, you've had a full off season to get this team going in the right direction. How have things gone, and how's participation been in your off-season program?
Well, you're right. I mean, it was good to get a full off season under our belt to kind of set the standard for what we desire from the kids in our program, December through May, and then start the summer program. Obviously, as a coach, it's never good enough, but we took some major strides in the right direction in the weight room. Percentage-wise, like I said, probably not exactly where we want it as far as participation in the weight room in the off season, but we had a real good core group of guys buy in and get there 4 or 5 days a week and put the work in between their other extracurricular activities. And so we're moving in the right direction. Summer participation was very good. We did some really great things, a lot of 7-on-7s, a lot of team workouts. Went to Shippensburg for a team camp for a week, took like 40-some guys there. We came into heat camp with 57 guys. Like whatever that would have been 10 days ago, we're down to probably around 48, 50 here as we speak today. But it's probably the right 48 or 50 guys that are all in, making the commitment. And, I think I'd love to be at 60. I'd love to have every male student in the school playing football because I think it's good for them. A lot of life lessons, helps them a whole way through their life and a career. And we want that to keep rising. But it is what it is right now, and here we are. We're just a week away.
Now, I think it's safe to assume you can never reach team goals if you don't have a great staff of assistants. I've been impressed with your pace of practice, how your assistants work with the different position groups, how everything's continuous and moving. Talk about their importance to this team and this team's development, especially with all the youth that you're going to be putting on the field on Friday and Saturdays.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, getting Bill Warwick to stay on staff and bringing Scott Mosgrove back, teachers in the school, that really helps in the building. Those guys have a ton of experience coaching football. Mike Weaver, I mean, he's been coaching here a long time. We use him at the inside linebacker coach. Mike Boyan has also coached here a long time as our running back coach. Brought in a guy by the name of Don Hanai, coach of Central Connecticut State. He's helping us with the D-line and O-line. Of course, Lucas Chaycott was with us last year as an O-line coach. He does a tremendous job there. And then we brought in Ben Snyder, a former alum, to help us with the receivers. And those guys do a great job. I mean, the one thing that's different for me is having enough kids to hold a great practice. And so every kid in our program gets work, technique-wise, and we have a 15 to 20 minute indie period every day, and so we get to develop players here, which is a benefit to me to have that coaching staff that can do that and the number of kids that can do that. It's different than coaching single-way ball, so I guess that'd be the difference. You can really focus in on developing players and with great coaches and putting a great coaching staff together, and then also, it's just you can just hold a real practice. You can go 11 against 11, and so I think that just marks for a higher quality level of football, and those guys are helping us get there. So great to have them.
And one thing I will say, and I'll give you a lot of credit for this, because in the game of football now with dwindling numbers, you're starting to see less and less JV games. They tried to eliminate ninth grade football and move those guys up and put them as part of JV and varsity, but it's at a lot of times it materializes into lack of participation in those extra games. You have a real commitment to getting those JV games and keeping those games on the schedule. Talk about their importance.
Well, you got to play to get better. I mean, that's how you get better, is playing full speed reps, and you only get that really in a game. I mean, we can simulate it pretty well in practice, like I said, but it's still different, when it's against another opponent. So those are very important to us. We want to play all 10. We want to be competitive in 10. It is difficult, even at this level, sometimes to find enough healthy players to play those games. But if we got 11, we're going to go try to play.
You lost a lot to graduation, and so this is probably one of the few times we'll focus on last year. But with the returning guys, how important is it going to be for them to lead this team? There's going to be a lot of underclassmen at key positions, and we'll get into that here in just a moment.
Yeah, we lost 17 seniors last year. Not all of them had experience. We were pretty inexperienced coming in last year too, even though we had 17 seniors. But when you got seniors, you usually have more mature bodies. They just physically develop between that junior and senior year, and that helps you, especially when you're playing in our conference in the WIPU. We play teams that are solid at every position, physical at every position, have 3-4 years in the weight room in a program, and we weren't there yet last year either, but we were very competitive because we had a lot of older bodies, and this year's a little different. We're going to be a lot younger, but we do return a few key guys that, you're right, have to lead us, have to kind of demonstrate what the standard is, and help these young guys raise their game.
Along those lines, the program's all-time leading passer, Luke Thomas, graduates. Should be pretty easy to replace everything he did for your team. Yeah, just kidding. That's the reality, and it appears you'll be doing so with sophomore Fox Van Leer. What have you liked about him that helped to make him the man for the job?
Well, it isn't solidified yet, but you're right. Fox has kind of put himself in the forefront for that position to take over the quarterback position. He's only a sophomore. So we know there's going to be bumps in the roads. There's going to be, trials and tribulations that he's going to have to fight through. And, we got some other guys. Malik Turner's taking some snaps there. We have a special package for him. A.J. Nickus is right in the mix as well. And and Devin Flint, he's got to overcome some things, but he's there too. He does a really good job in our offense. So, but I think Fox, what has put him kind of out in the forefront, I guess, as you saw the scrimmage Wednesday night, he's kind of like driven our culture. He's kind of defined what we want our program to look like and our players to look like in our program, and he's the kid that's in the weight room 5 days a week. Even if it's wrestling season, he comes in at 6 a.m. and gets his work done, and then he just works. He goes home and works on stuff. He's committed to what we're trying to build here and be successful. And it's funny how those kids that have that mindset rise to the top. And so you look at his work ethic in the off season, you think there's a kid that's going to help us at some point. And sure enough, it happens sooner than you would think it would because of his age. And so it's just his work ethic, and he's driving our culture right now.
One thing, and you sort of alluded to it, is with the schedule. This section really difficult. You guys, no weeks off. Even with the non-section games that you guys have scheduled. Talk about the level of competition that this team's going to face.
Absolutely unbelievable schedule that we're facing this year. Every team is solid, and there's D1 recruits on almost every team that you look at that are top 100 guys in the state. And so that's a great challenge for us. Even the guys at the bottom of the conference have gotten a year older. They played a lot of young guys last year, so they were kind of in the position we're in this year with playing young guys, and they're going to be better. So, you just got to get prepared every week, put the kids in the best situation that you think where the matchups are, and try to be successful with what we do and stick to our process and what we're trying to do schematically, and be competitive as you can be. And really, like I said, with the youth we have, we can't hang our hat on outcomes. We got to kind of look at process and progress as we move along, and that's just kind of where we are as a program. So, but yeah, unbelievable schedule. Our out-of-conference schedule is just as tough as our in-conference with McKeesport and Blackhawk and Armstrong to start. Those teams are all playoff teams last year. Blackhawk was 10-1. McKeesport, was deep in the playoffs. So we got our hands full with our schedule.
With that being said, traveling on the road for week 0, which I've got to teach myself to stop saying week 1, but I know a WPIAL term, everybody refers to it as week 0, so I'll do the same. You guys have a trip. I know you can't look past the scrimmage tomorrow with Mount Pleasant, but you're already got to be starting to think, how important is it for this team to get off to that good start? You obviously want to win everything you do. That's why you do it. But at the same point, you want to see improvement. You want to see grasping of the terms, grasping of the concepts. How important is it for you guys to get off to a good start in that non-section opener next week?
Well, you hope that you do. You hope that the kids are ready. I know we're as prepared as we possibly could be with the kids that we have. You hope that you can go down there and compete and get a win. At the same time, you got to live in reality. I mean, we're going to start a sophomore quarterback. We're probably going to play a freshman and a sophomore at running back. So we're young. So I think the hardest part is going to be for me. I mean, the head coach has to be patient and has to live in reality. And so, you hope for all those things. You want good things to happen, but you also know that it could be a little bumpy road this year. And we just got to keep building, stay positive, and realize, focus on what's to come and what we're trying to build, because it will happen if we stick to our guns and stick to the process and play every play and just don't worry about the outcome. Play every play like it has a life and history of its own, and the chips will fall where they are. We just got to keep building on it.
Coach, good luck, and thank you for the time this morning. Looking forward to covering the team this season and following your team's development. We're excited.
It should be really exciting to watch these young guys develop. They're a great group to work with. Real excited about our underclassmen and our seniors. I mean, obviously, I don't know if I talked about Malik Turner, but he's a returning all-conference guy, and really excited to see if he can take it to the next level. And we got some other guys too, but it's really going to be exciting to watch those young guys develop, and I appreciate it. I look forward to it too.
Okay. For your hometown stations, from Media Day here at Indiana, I'm Travis Williams.